Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Tim from Salem Lutheran Church, my office, and I want to just spend some time with Steve Berenbrinker, our treasurer, and he and I are just going to talk a little bit about our finances, so you can ahead of time follow along with us if you'd like to, and then we're going to post this video onto the onto our Facebook page, and we're going to try to set up a video YouTube as well if I can get some help with that. On my own, and I want to thank you for the great support we had this year. We really did some incredible stuff that you can read in all of the annual reports, whether mine or Steve's or others. That it's an incredible kind of how the ministry continued even in the midst of a pandemic. For Steve and I on the financial end, we really didn't know what was going to happen once we had to start closing down church in attendance. We didn't know what our giving would do, but through your support, we were able to continue our ministry even in the darkest times when it felt like it was only me in the office normally. And so here we are almost a year later, and we want to give you thanks, give thanks to you and give thanks to God for the work that we've done together. And so what we're going to do during this time is we're going to introduce to you some of the stuff that's in the annual report. And then at the end, if you would like to send me, Pastor Tim, or Steve emails that we can review and reflect on before our annual meeting, we'd like to allow you to do that just some extra time. So thank you for checking this video out. I'm sure it'll go fast and it'll be informative. So it's my pleasure to introduce at this time Steve Berenbrinker, treasurer for our church.
All right, thank you, Pastor Tim, and thanks for your leadership this past year. Again, I want to echo Pastor Tim's comments about your generosity, just to be amazed that our income for the year, and again, I'm going to talk about numbers, that's part of my job here, to only be down 6.5% from the previous year and less than 5% off our total budget. That's truly amazing with the COVID pandemic. As you may or may not know, how we deal with the finances at Salem is it's broken into two funds, the general or the operating fund, and then the dedicated fund, which are funds that are set aside for a specific purpose other than operating budgets, and that's where we maintain our savings. And at the annual meeting on Sunday, we're going to be looking at approving an operating budget using the general fund. So I wanted to give you, that's kind of overall quick accounting 101. Overall, we are in excellent shape. We are very fortunate. Our balance in our general fund as of January 2020 was $153,000. We're now at over $217,000. That's great. Dedicated funds, January of 2020, $98,000. We're now at $275,000. Great things. We did redeem a couple of the CDs that we put in as investments with interest, collected over $76,000 back on our CDs. Again, our budget for the year was $609,600 last year. And based on the giving trends and our expense trends, that's why the council and the finance committee that worked all very diligently on the serious matter of budgeting, with the hopes and prayerful thought that we will hopefully continue that same level of giving in 2021. With all the unknowns, we want to be positive, recognize the generosity of our members. So we're very fortunate to have that. This is the first time that Salem has had a reserve or a savings account, as we call it, the reserve, of over $100,000. Now we're able to fund that and also move money from our general fund into our dedicated for future savings and future expenses. Very little liabilities. We've got our payroll production plan that we applied for in 2020 that we expect that will get forgiven, but that was $57,400 that we did use to pay part of our expenses. We did relight or rebulb our church, and we have a fund balance there of about $9,000. And then we got the spending of our special assessments that's coming up, and I'll highlight that as we go through a budget line item in that. So that's just a quick overview. I want to get into line by line on the spreadsheet that's in your annual report at page 24 through 26. And I'll just kind of highlight things. You don't, again, get into every line item. It's all there for you. And if nothing was drastically changed, we'll quickly go over that. And Pastor, feel free to chime in if I miss something here. Again, as I stated, we're looking at a 2021 proposed budget for approval at our meeting on Sunday. And again, we're looking at total contributions and total income expected to be $609,600 again in 2021. If you look at some of those line items, because we did not have in-person services, some of these line items like loose offering and then donations on a specific event, those are down. So we're going to have to, hopefully we recover some of that in our general contributions as we move back into having regular services. Those are good things. And just like other receipts, which would be other non-member contributions, if no one's at church, we're not receiving those donations. So that's part of our issues why we didn't meet our budget in 2020, but we hope to meet those goals in 2021. Pastor, do you have anything else on income that you wanted to add in at this point?
I know the income side is similar because we're starting to staff more now with Pastor Kirsten. And as Steve said, one of the ways that we were able to make up ground and just have savings even during difficult time is that the church was very quiet, but also we had planned for staffing wise, Pastor Kirsten almost a full year. And so with her not coming till December, we saved basically 11 months of her salary, which allowed us to put that into a savings status right now. And so that certainly helps the bottom line, I guess, as I saw it. And that helped us to, even though we didn't make our budget, to stay in the black, I guess, as Steve said.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Pastor. So now for our expenses, we break those down into administrative expenses, education and family, mission and outreach, personnel expenses, property expenses, and worship and music. As you can see, we've categorized those different categories. First one, administrative expenses. We know that we need to, the message from our members and our leadership is we need to have better communication tools. So we're going to assign and allocate some more funds for that in 2021. So you'll see that is a major change there. You'll also see another line item for our account temps finance clerk. The executive committee and the council are supportive of hiring our Christine Chauvin as our permanent part-time finance clerk. So we're going to be making some changes on that. So that's will be shifted over during the year on that. Under education and family, you'll see some shifting of funds again. The main one would be youth and family transportation. We're not likely to have much transportation, those type of activities yet in 2021. So we did reduce some funds there, recognizing the shift and of the youth and projects that they can be relatively involved in over the year. So that's a major change there. Missions and outreach, again, we want to support our synod. We want to support our local benevolences, which include the Salvation Army, Place of Hope, and Crisis Nursery fully. Eastside Story, again, we want to continue doing great things in our neighborhood, so we've funded that again this year. That's a major changes in total missions and outreach. Personnel expenses, again, we're fully staffed, so that's a shift again in our expenses. We're also suggesting a 2% cost of living for our full-time staff. A major expense is part of our compensation packages for our full-time staff is medical, dental, disability. Finance committee, along with leadership, is looking at doing some research and seeing if we can do better with that to make sure we're following Synod guidelines and being reflective of market conditions in there. A big number, big expense under casual labor. This is how we funded InterServe that provided a leadership for our youth program in 2020. So that will go away because we now have got staff to do that. So that's to be a big change on that. And also we paid for some IT support, and again, leadership and council is going to look at how to move the IT and social media products, move those forward to make them more accessible to our members. Any comments on any of those items, Pastor?
No, like I said, there might be, as Steve said, we had a lot in casual labor, which will go away because Peter Erickson, who did a great job with the youth, he's no longer here. But we also we didn't have to fund like our folks that were helping with security and stuff like that. And as we reopen, we might have some of those, but they'll still be a lot less than they were. And so overall, in the time that I've been here, the staff has moved around some, but so far so good with the staff that we have, and we're thankful for the ones that we do share ministry with.
Great. All right. Thank you, Pastor. Move on to property expenses. Again, this will be the first year we pay a special assessment for our street improvements, $11,500, and that actually goes down over years, but we may try to pay some of that off because it is an interest-bearing special assessment on that. But that's new this year. We are going to kind of relook at our categories of property maintenance and property improvements and code those more appropriately with that. Unallocated or flexible dollars are just dollars between the income and the expenses to balance out the budget that's may not be used for property expenses, or maybe, but we'll look at how we're going to use that funds as necessary during the year. No major changes in worship and music. So again, you're going to see that our income of $609,600 equals our expected expenses, $609,600. Our administration reflects about 7% of our budget. Our education, about 2%. Our mission, 7%. Personnel expenses, 69%. Property expenses, 12%, and worship, 3%. So those are expenses. Our goals that we talked about for next year, again, we certainly appreciate electronic giving, and we're going to be investigating another method, which would be text to give in 2021. Again, we want to review our health insurance costs, maintain that healthy capital reserve, fund our benevolences and ministries 100%, reduce our special assessment balance, continue to reduce any expenses that we can, complete an annual internal audit of our records, and have the PPP or the that loan forgiven.
Payroll protection. Payroll
protection plan. That's easy for you to say, Pastor. So good. That is my comments. Again, if you have any questions or comments, it's been vetted by the Finance Committee. This isn't Pastor's budget. This isn't my budget. This has been vetted by leadership, and we think we're hopefully that it's reasonable, practical, and that we can serve our members, serve our missions, and do God's work. So that's quick and dirty on the budget.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. And so remember, everyone, on Sunday, you can, if you're doing it online, you can literally open up the budget from your computer. You just go to our website, salemstcloud.org. It's right there on a drop-down menu that you can just open it up right there. It's great, PDF. And if you'd like to get a hold of us to Zoom in, we have sent out a whole bunch of emails to how to do it. We've sent it out in a paper form on how to do it. And so if you need help with that, just email me and I'll do my best, or Viv today. And we'll try to get you the link if you can't use the one where you type it in from the paper form too easily. So Steve and I are very thankful for your support. And honestly, the fun part is with the flexibility we have, along with Pastor Kirsten coming, expect some opportunities to hear about the mission of God opening up as well for our neighborhood. And as Steve said, East Side Story in different ways. And we got to get through this pandemic a little bit as far as opening up church with some safety protocols, but we're looking forward to that time. So stay safe, everyone. And we hope to see some of you in person tomorrow. Steve and I will be there. And then we hope to see some of you online as well. So God bless you. Steve, anything, last thing you want to say?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.